Hello there guys, welcome to one of my videos. So Chong has completed his loan move to Werder Bremen. He has joined their pre-season training camp. It did say recently that Chong would leave Manchester United within the next 48 hours. But I think we've made the right decision by putting him out on loan so he can get regular first team football. Chong only made 13 first team appearances for Manchester United. Obviously, Chong did make his full debut for the football club in our 2-0 win against Reading in the FA Cup last season. I think it was the third round. It was only back in March that Chong had signed a 2-year deal with Manchester United. And obviously, we did get him from Feyenoord back in 2016. So, yeah, he has now joined Werder Bremen on loan. But his agent did confirm recently that Chong does want to go to the Bundesliga. So, that is the breaking news on him. Now, I want to give you some breaking news on Dean Henderson. I did mention this yesterday. So reportedly Dean Henderson does want to commit his long-term future with Manchester United. And he wants to be our number one for next season. So he's set to battle it out with David De Gea for the number one jersey. Now, it did actually say recently that, we could loan Dean Henderson out again for another season, but he will not be going to Sheffield United. Main explanation is because Sheffield United have had a £18.5 million bid accepted for Aaron Ramsdale from Bournemouth. So he won't be going back to Sheffield United, but I think Solskjaer's got to put Dean Henderson as our number one for next season, because I do feel as though now Dean Henderson is reliable to become our number one goalkeeper, and plus he has got that experience because obviously he's enjoyed 2 successful loans with Sheffield United. He has been Sheffield United's player of the season. Dean Henderson's had quite a few loan spells, with Stockport, Grimsby and Shrewsbury. Obviously, we got Dean Henderson back in 2011 from Carlisle. We got him at the age of 14. Dean Henderson's current contract at Man United expires in 2022. He did say the other week that we'd been in negotiations with Dean Henderson's agent over getting him a new contract, and reportedly we offered him like 60 grand a week. As far as I'm aware, contract talks are still ongoing. They're still ongoing in that. But yeah, so we have got to put him as number one for next season. But definitely Solskjaer is facing the goalkeeping dilemma, because he did actually say prior to our game against Copenhagen that, we'll find it hard to keep De Gea, Henderson and Romero all at the football club for next season. But as you all know, David De Gea has been our number one for several years. Obviously, De Gea has been a long servant at the football club. He's enjoyed 9 years with Manchester United. He is approaching his 10th year at the football club. And Solskjaer, did make an admission saying that De Gea has been the best goalkeeper in the world for the last 9 or 10 years. But I think De Gea's had 7 good years out of the 9 years he's been at Man United, because in the last couple of years he has been a liability, reflecting on the calamitous mistakes he has made. De Gea has made around 404 appearances for us in all competitions and 300 odd appearances in the Premier League. Obviously, David De Gea has won everything domestically at the football club, and he has won individual awards reflecting on his good performances over the years. But if we was to sell De Gea in this summer transfer window, then I think we would get £60 million for him. We paid just over £80 million for him from Atletico Madrid back in 2011. But, when David De Gea does leave Manchester United, I think he will go back to Spain. Don't forget, back in 2015, he was close to joining Real Madrid, but due to a fax machine, the deal never materialised. And last September, David De Gea signed a 4-year deal with the club worth around 375 grand a week. So De Gea is the highest paid goalkeeper in the world, and he is the highest paid at the football club. Obviously, we've got Sergio Romero as well. Obviously, if, Dean Henderson is to be number one next season, and De Gea was still to be at the club, then Sergio Romero would be third choice. So reflect on that, he'd probably want to leave Manchester United. But if it was to let David De Gea go, and obviously then Romero would be number 2 as a backup. Obviously, Romero, throughout the course of this season, has played all our League Cup games. He's played all our FA Cup games prior to the semi-final, and he's also played our Europa League games recently. Romero has got, is it just under a year left on his Manchester United contract, but the club do have an option to extend it for a further year. And this has been Sergio Romero's 5th year at Manchester United. We did get him on the free from Sampdoria back in 2015, and he is now in his 30s. We've got other goalkeepers as well. We've got that Lee Grant, who we recommended in Jose Mourinho's final transfer window. We've got Joe Pereira. Obviously, he has been out on loan with Hearts. So that is a bit more additional information on Dean Henderson. Now, I just want to give you some breaking news on Chris Smalling. Sky Sports were reporting out yesterday, and Sky Sports is a reliable source. They said that Newcastle have expressed their interest in the player, but reportedly Chris Smalling has got no interest in going to Newcastle. I think he actually prefers a move to Italy. Now, obviously, Roma are interested in Chris Smalling, and so too are Inter Milan. Don't forget, Inter Milan have already bought 3 of our players. Obviously, they got Lukaku offers last summer. They got Sanchez offers permanently the other week. And they obviously got Ashley Young offers in January. I think we've said that we want around £20 million for Chris Smalling. Roma are not willing to meet this valuation. Now, Smalling returned to Man United not too long ago because obviously he was out on loan with Roma. He actually went out on loan to Roma last summer. Roma paid around 2.7 million to get him on loan, and he was absolutely exceptional during his loan spell with Roma. And Solskjaer did reveal that he was in regular contact with Smalling whilst he was out on loan with them. And he still insists that Smalling does have a future at the football club. Chris Smalling's been long serving at Manchester United. Obviously, he's enjoyed a good, 9.5, 10 years with us. He's been with us since the Alex Ferguson era. Obviously, we did get him from Fulham. So that is the breaking news on him. But Smalling's still got a couple of years left on his contract. He's under contract with us until 2022. But to be honest with you, we've got a hell of a lot of centre-halves in the team. I think we've got 7 centre-halves in the team. Obviously, we've got Victor Lindelof. We've got Harry Maguire. They're our first choice centre-halves. Obviously, we've got Bay and Tuan Zebe. They're our backup centre-halves. Obviously, we've still got Marcus Rojo. Obviously, looking to get rid of him permanently. Fossa Mensah as well. He can also play as a centre-half. So many centre-halves in the team. Just want to give you a bit of news on Andres Pereira. I give you the breaking news on Andres Pereira recently. It came from the Brazilian outlet Esporte Interativo. They said that Andres Pereira is leaving Manchester United, despite Ole Gunnar Solskjaer wanting him to stay at the football club. But it does mention that Benfica are interested in Andres Pereira. It does say that Andres Pereira's agent has been talking with clubs in Germany, Portugal and Spain. Now, don't forget, Andres Pereira has played in Spain before because he had 2 loan spells with Granada and Valencia. But we need to get rid of Andres Pereira because obviously Andres Pereira has been finding game time very, very difficult. And obviously since the arrival of Bruno Fernandes, Andres Pereira has found himself surplus to requirements. Pereira has got a contract with us until 2023. So still a few years left on his contract. Pereira has been at the club for several years. Obviously, we got him in from PSV in 2012. Spent a few years in our youth setup. Then obviously broke into our senior squad in 2014. And Andres Pereira's gone on to he's only made, 45 appearances in the senior squad and scored around 2 goals. But has found game time very, very difficult. And Andres Pereira is only very, very young. So it's looking very imminent. He's going to be leaving the football club. But like I've said to you, there's big decisions that I've got to be made in this summer transfer window, of obviously what players we're going to recommend in and what players we are going to get rid of. We're going to get rid of a good 6 or 7 players in this summer transfer window. I think we're also going to get rid of Jesse Lingard, despite Ole Gunnar Solskjaer wanting him to stay at the football club. I think Lingard himself wants to stay at Manchester United, and obviously Solskjaer is an admirer of him because Solskjaer coached Jesse Lingard as a youth player, and Lingard's been part of the club for several years. Obviously, Lingard did score in our game against Lask in the second leg, scored in the game against Leicester on the final day of the Premier League season. That was his first goal for Man United against Leicester since Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's first game in charge. Lingard has just got under a year left on his Man United contract, but the club do have an option to extend it for a further year. I think we'd probably get around 20 odd million for Lingard. I think the likes of Newcastle, Everton and West Ham that are interested in him. Diego Dalot, he's also another player I expect to leave Manchester United because I don't think Diego Dalot is good enough to represent the football club. Diego Dalot has been at the club now a couple of years. Obviously, we got him in Jose Mourinho's final transfer window. We paid £19 million for him from Porto, and Dalot has got a contract with us until 2023. He's only made 11 appearances for us in all competitions this season. I think only made 1 start in the Premier League. Don't forget Dalot had back-to-back injuries earlier on in the season. He does reportedly say that Everton are interested in him, and Everton believe from their perspective they can get Dalot for around £10 million. Eric Bay, there's a lot of Manchester United fans saying that, we should get rid of him. Not because he's a bad centre-half, he's just injury-prone, and obviously he isn't one of our first-choice centre-halves anyway. This has been Eric Bay's 4th season at Manchester United. Obviously, we got him from Villarreal back in 2016. Paid just £30 million for him. But in last summer, during pre-season, Bay sustained a bad knee injury. And then obviously he was out till February this year, and then obviously came back, put some good performances out. Then he sustained a head injury in our 3-1 defeat to Chelsea in the FA Cup semi-final. So he's just too injury prone. I was reading stories the other week saying that we'd actually offered AC Milan the chance to sign Eric Bay, but we'd probably want to recoup the £30 million at least what we paid for him if we are to sell him. I think Bay has still got a few years left on his Man United contract. All of that. So there you go. By the way, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has made a transfer demand to Ed Woodward and the board. And, Solskjaer has basically said he wants Manchester United to spend big in this summer transfer window. And he wants to have a big squad for next season. Now, Solskjaer's already outlined his transfer plans, obviously. He's instructed our board to go and get his preferred targets. And he said he wants to make at least 3 signings in this summer transfer window. And obviously, he's identified the areas in the squad where he does want to strengthen up. Obviously, the summer transfer window now has been open, is it nearly 2 weeks? We've seen signings already made in this summer transfer window. Obviously, Man City, they've made some good signings so far. Obviously, they signed Ferran Torres from Valencia. They also signed Nathan Ake from Bournemouth. By the way, City are no longer in the Champions League now because they got knocked out by Lyon 3-1. And obviously the Champions League was City's priority, so they will be very, very disappointed. Obviously, Chelsea, they've made some very, very good signings so far. They got actually Ziyech back in February. Obviously, even before the window opened, they paid around 37 or 38 million for Hakim Ziyech. Obviously, they got Werner from RP Leipzig. I think they have now got Ben Chilwell from Leicester, or it's close to happening if it isn't official, because Ben Chilwell's been their number 1 priority target. Obviously, Chelsea are still looking to get Kai Havertz on the board. Arsenal have just recently signed Willian on a free. Liverpool have just signed that Jasikmas from Olympiacos for around £13 million. And Liverpool, of course, are looking to get Thiago. Obviously, my club, Man United, have made their first signing in the summer transfer window, like I updated you recently. We have signed Philip Stevanovic from Partizan Belgrade for around €12 million. But he will remain at Partizan Belgrade on loan for next season. Then he will be officially joining Manchester United in the summer of 2021. Like I said, he's been at Partizan Belgrade for several years. Joined their youth setup in 2011, so he joined them at just the age of 9. And I think he made his senior debut in 2018 and became Partizan Belgrade's third youngest debutant. And I think he became the youngest goal scorer in a UEFA competition for Partizan Belgrade. Did still have a contract with Partizan Belgrade until 2022. He's predominantly a left winger. He's a player that can score goals. He can create chances. His runs on off the ball very, very good. But yeah, and he is only at the age of 17. I think a few clubs were interested in Filip Stevanovic. But I think he'll follow the footsteps of Tosic because we actually got Tosic from Partizan Belgrade back in 2009. But I think he only enjoyed one season with us. Obviously, Filip Stevanovic has played twice against us this season in the Europa League group stages and that. So we have made our first signing in this summer transfer window. I think at the end of the Premier League season, our transfer budget got revealed and it said, we've got around £140 million to spend. But I've got to say, this season, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has exceeded expectations. Obviously, got us qualification for the Champions League. Also, got us third place, and he's also, got us to 3 semi-finals because obviously, we got to the EFL Cup semi-final. We also got to the FA Cup semi-final, and now we are into the Europa League semi-final, obviously. But Solskjaer, did say that semi-finals are not good enough. He said semi-finals are not good enough and all of that, and he says he hopes this is the. He hopes that there's many finals to come, and this is, not only the first. But I'm just so glad that we did get qualification for the Champions League because I said, didn't I, how important Champions League was for our players, attracting players, and for the financial structure. But this was Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's first full season at the football club, and obviously, next season is the big test for Solskjaer because next season Solskjaer is going to have bigger expectations to exceed. Our expectations next season will be probably to challenge for the Premier League title because we do want to be up there competing with the likes of Manchester City and Liverpool and that. Because, we are the most successful team in Premier League history. Obviously, we've won 20 titles and 13 of them are Premier Leagues and that, but we have not won the Premier League since 2013. And like I said, earlier on in the season, it was looking likely, Solskjaer was going to be sacked as Manchester United manager. Very, very close it was. And because don't forget, we enjoyed our worst start ever to a Premier League season. But Solskjaer's been at the football club now over a year and a half. Like I've mentioned, I have taken positives from his tenure. I think our recruitment's definitely improved under Solskjaer because we have been criticised for several years, reflecting how poor our recruitment policy's been. Also, too, I think throughout the course of the season, Solskjaer's promoted the youth very, very well. But, when Solskjaer got appointed in as Manchester United manager, he said everybody would get their chances to express themselves, including the young players, and this is exactly, what he's done. I think his approach to the big games throughout the course of this season's been very, very good. Solskjaer's, got rid of a lot of the deadwood since he got recommended into Manchester United. The players that have left since Solskjaer came in, obviously Fellaini left in January 2019. He was the first player to leave under the Solskjaer era. Obviously, we saw Ashley Young leave in January after he enjoyed 8.5 years at the club. We saw Valencia leave last summer after he enjoyed 10 years at Manchester United. We saw Rojo go out on loan to Estudiantes, but I think he's now back. Smalling went out on loan to Roma last summer, but is obviously now back. Darmian left the football club permanently last summer. He went to Parma. Obviously, Ander Herrera left last summer. He went to PSG after he enjoyed 5 years with Man United. Lukaku left last summer. He went to Inter Milan. And of course, Sanchez went out on loan to Inter Milan last summer, but the other week Inter Milan did get him permanently, and of course they did get him on a free. Angel Gomez, obviously, he left the football club the other week. He joined, was it Lille? He joined Lille. I think he agreed a 5-year deal. But he immediately got loaned out to Boavista, in which I think is a Portuguese side. So he has got rid of a lot of the deadwood since he got recommended into the football club. And, like I said, Solskjaer has made very, very good signings so far. Obviously, this summer transfer window is his 4th transfer window as Man United manager, but in the 2 previous windows, made 4 permanent signings. Obviously, got Daniel James and Wan-Bissaka and Harry Maguire in last summer. And obviously in January, got Bruno Fernandes and obviously brought Odi Nagalo in on loan. So yeah, I've seen a hell of a lot of improvements under him. But, we have seen an upturn in form since January. Because, we haven't lost in the league since January. We are unbeaten in our last 14 league games. Don't forget as well, went on 19-game unbeaten run in all competitions until Chelsea beating us in the FA Cup semi-final. I think, also too, we have extended a lot of players' contracts since Solskjaer came in, but, we have still got around 7 or 8 players' contracts that are due to expire next year. But like I said, Man United's main focus is the Europa League. Obviously, it's a semi-final against Sevilla tonight. Going to be a very, very big game. Like I said, Sevilla, very, very good team. They're unbeaten in their last 19 games. They did finish 4th in the La Liga this season, and Sevilla have got some very, very good players. Of course, the last time we played Sevilla was back in the last 16 of the Champions League back in 2018. Obviously, it was 0-0 at their ground, but they had beaten us 2-1 at Old Trafford. Wissam Ben Yedder had scored both goals, and Romelu Lukaku had scored for us. And, it's important that we do start the game on the front foot, because Solskjaer said that big moments are definitely key. So we've got to go in that game on the front foot. We've got to go in that game winning them last-ditch tackles. We've got to keep the ball well. We've got to, be clinical in front of goal. So this is what you have to do. But we can't sit on the back foot against teams like Sevilla. We can't do this. Sevilla did recently beat Wolves in the quarter-final by 1-0. But we progressed to the semi-finals of the Europa League by obviously beating Copenhagen in the quarter-final, obviously beaten Lask in the last 16, and we beaten Club Brugge in the round of 32. But I've given you the main explanations why I want Manchester United to win the Europa League is because if we win the Europa League, it will end our trophy drought. We haven't won a trophy for over 3 years. Plus, if we win the Europa League, it will be our first trophy under the Ole Gunnar Solskjaer era. And plus, if we win it, it will be our second Europa League. We've already won it once. Won it back under the Jose Mourinho era back in 2017. We beat Ajax in the final by 2-0. And it'll just put more confidence into the team if, we do win the Europa League. We are 2 games away from winning this competition. Solskjaer did say winning the Europa League as Manchester United manager would be one of his greatest achievements. So what he means is it would surpass 1999. During the press conference yesterday, Solskjaer didn't really give an indication of what team he's going to select. Didn't give us any update on any transfers or anything like that. But, he's got a plan how we can beat Sevilla, and that's obviously, scoring more goals than them. Obviously, reacted to Bayern Munich beating Barcelona 8-2, and he's actually, described Bayern Munich as the best team in Europe, and he says that Man United have got to learn from Bayern Munich. Obviously, Bruno Fernandes during the press conference was asked a few questions, and he's actually, rejected comparisons with Eric Cantona. He said, he's got to do much more, if he's to be compared with Eric Cantona. He said that Cantona was a good player for the club. was a good player for the club, and Bruno Fernandes also said he come to Manchester, for the club, and he come to win trophies. So he says if Man United win the Europa League, he will be happy. But yeah, in this game against Sevilla tonight, I think Solskjaer's going to make a few changes from our 1-0 win against Copenhagen recently, but he will obviously not take any risks, he won't. The only 3 injuries we've got is Luke Shaw, Tuan Zebe and Phil Jones, so obviously none of them are going to be available. And that. But yeah, you already know the news regarding Jadon Sancho from Borussia Dortmund. A lot of Manchester United fans now think Jadon Sancho to Manchester United is off. Because, you had Borussia Dortmund's CEO coming out saying that Sancho's staying at Dortmund, and Borussia Dortmund's sporting director Michael Zorg said that Sancho's staying at Dortmund and the decision is final. Don't forget, we missed out on the deadline to sign Sancho because Dortmund said we had until the 10th of August to sign the player. Solskjaer's actually changed his mind now on Sancho, and we are moving away from, the Jadon Sancho deal. But we are now looking at alternatives for him because these cheaper solutions in him, Jack Grealish, he still remains on our agenda. Kalidou Koulibaly from Napoli, we've been in for him. Gabriel Magalhaes. The news got confirmed yesterday from Gerard Lopez, the Lille president. He said that Gabriel Magalhaes is going to be leaving Lille in this summer transfer window and that. But there's been so many players on our agenda. But Solskjaer did say at the start of his managerial tenure he wanted to make around 9 signings. And he agreed this with Mike Phelan, and so far he's made 5 permanent signings at the football club. Obviously, we've got a decision to make on Odion Ighalo. Are we going to possibly think about getting Odion Ighalo permanently? Obviously, we've got Odion Ighalo on deadline day in January. We got him from Shanghai Shenhua on loan. The main explanation why we got Odion Ighalo, because we needed to cover up to Rashford, because when we got Odion Ighalo, Rashford was out with that back injury. Don't forget, Ighalo was our top goal scorer in the FA Cup this season. Was it just before the season resumed? Odion Ighalo extended his loan with Man United until January 2021, but we've no option to buy him, or there's no obligation to buy. It recently said that PSG are interested in Ighalo because they're seeing him as a replacement for Edison Cavani and a backup to Mario Icardi. But I don't think Odion Ighalo's got any interest in going to PSG. I really, really don't. But like I said, give Solskjaer more time at the club. The vast majority of this team's not his. Solskjaer's inheriting players either from the Jose Mourinho era, still plays either from the Van Gaal era, well, a few from the Van Gaal era, Maria from the David Moyes era, and there's still a few players here from the Alex Ferguson era and that. But the vast majority of this team is Jose Mourinho, so Solskjaer is still in the process of rebuilding this Manchester United team. In the last 7 years, though, we have been playing catch-up. We've had different managers with different philosophies. We spent close to the £1 billion range on players. We've recruited over 30-odd players since the Ferguson era. Obviously, under Moyes, we brought Fellaini and Juan Mata in. Moyes spent around 60-odd million at the club when he was here. But Moyes only enjoyed 9 months at Man United, or was it 8 months? He should never be Man United manager in the first place. Obviously, under Van Gaal, we must have brought a good 15, 16 players in. We brought likes of Schneiderlin in, Sebastian Schweinsteiger, Di Maria, Falcao, Memphis Depay, Daley Blind, Rojo, Darmian, Martial, Shaw, Romero, Ander Herrera. I think, brought quite a lot of players in under the Louis Van Gaal era. We really, really did. There's probably a few others as well. Obviously, under Mourinho, we recommended 11 players into the football club. And I think Mourinho spent a good, 400 million or just under 400 million pounds at Manchester United and that, And like I said, Van Gaal, he enjoyed, 2 years at Man United, did win the FA Cup, and Jose Mourinho, he enjoyed 2.5 years at Manchester United and did win the Europa League and the League Cup in his first season. But yes, so Solskjaer is our 4th permanent manager since the Alex Ferguson era. You already know the news regarding Paul Pogba. I give you the news on him recently. There were stories coming out from 2 Sport saying that, Juventus are willing to offer Dybala in a swap to re-sign Paul Pogba. Man United could be willing to go along with this. Don't forget, went in for Dybala last summer, but we're in the process of trying to get Paul Pogba a new contract at the football club. So, yeah. So, anyway, guys, that's everything to update you today. Drop your comments, likes below on the channel. If you do, consider subscribe as always, and take care. God bless, and I'll see you all again very, very soon.